Welcome, everybody, to FKA the Pod. I'm your host this week. My name is Trent, and as always, I'm joined by Seth. Seth, can you say, I'm Pickle Rick?
Can I say something else?
Seth, can you say something else?
Something else. I've never watched Rick and Morty, and I don't want to mislead anybody.
You don't want to be the guy standing on top of the counter in McDonald's, being like, I'm Pickle Rick,
No.
or whatever he says. Okay, that's fair. All right. And as always, as well, I'm joined by Reed. Reed, can you say whatever you want because Seth fucked up my segment?
What's squanching, homies? What's up? Y'all ready to
It's
squanch?
Swifty, my
Yeah, you're
guys.
trying to get squanched up on this Thursday morning, maybe Friday.
Who knows?
Probably. Yeah, who knows? But we've got a jam-packed episode for you guys this week. As always, we are, bleeding out of the nose because we've got so much to talk about. If you watch the video version of this podcast on YouTube, don't hold us to that.
It's like a horror
but
movie
first-
in here. So much blood.
Yeah, right
But
there.
first order of
Chocolate.
business, do you guys have anything to drink? What are we drinking? It's still January.
Yeah, so you know what I'm drinking? Water.
Water.
H2O. Nice.
Sweet.
I've got a Corona,
All right.
and then I have the Rhinestone Memorial Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey Shot. And I've got a couple of tidbits to add as I am about to have this shot. The first is that at the time of recording, it is actually former co-host Ryan's birthday, so shout out to him.
Happy birthday.
We can't say what day it is because then people could hack him and would know our recording schedule. But happy
even more
birthday to
important.
Ryan. What'd you say?
That's even more important. Our recording schedule is more important than his birthday date, you know?
Yeah. And also, I've been using the same shot glass pretty much every week of this podcast for years and years and years.
Tennessee Moonshine Co.
And Tennessee Shine Company, I took it out of the cabinet today and noticed that the last letter has finally come off.
Damn.
So now it's just a plain glass, shot glass. It took years,
Nice,
but all of the letters just came off in the dishwasher. So this is what it looks like now. Just
Damn. Yeah, it's just
glass.
plain old shot glass.
That's kind of sad. That's kind of sad.
The quality was real high for our stupid distillery tour that we went on.
Yeah, that was before the pandemic. That was literally the last thing that any of us did before the coronavirus turned our lives upside down.
Yeah.
So
Flip turned it for real.
That's right. That's right. Well, cheers, Seth. I have a drink, and I'm going to tell you guys about it.
Is that Negroni
Once you
Spagliato?
take your shot. While you're taking your shot, it's not a Spagliato.
Oh, while I'm taking my shot, okay.
Is it
but,
Negroni regular auto?
No, it's in this. It's a similar vibe. It's a similar vibe to a Negroni, but it's actually a Toronto.
Not even.
Do you know what a Toronto is?
Yeah,
No.
My guess is it's almost like a Manhattan because a lot of movies that are supposed to be set in New York are actually filmed in Toronto. There you
Interesting.
I think it's
You're
got
not
bitters
entirely
in it.
wrong.
It's got bitters.
It
That's
does.
my guess.
It does have whiskey and sweet vermouth in it, but in addition to whiskey and sweet vermouth and a cherry actually, so it's like a Manhattan with Fernet
Okay.
as well.
What's a Manhattan?
That's pretty much it.
For...
That's pretty much it. I was looking up cocktail recipes with that, like the Toronto cocktail recipes before the podcast, and some of them said you put sweet vermouth in it, and some of them said you put simple syrup and a couple dashes of Angostura bitters. So I went with the sweet vermouth because I have it. So that's what it is.
Cheers. You know, I heard another, while we're talking about Canada, just real quick, Toronto specifically. There's that interesting tidbit that like 90% of people who live in Canada live like within 100 miles of the US.
Yeah.
So that's true. But another interesting tidbit about Canada is that like 50% of Canadians live between Toronto and Montreal. So like right near Michigan and like Ohio and up to New York. That's 50% of them,
20 million.
which is
people.
crazy.
Hmm. And then maybe like 45% are probably near Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
What about Quebec? They got their own language. They got to have a decent percentage of the people, right? Like
So Montreal is in Quebec.
Gotcha.
Quebec and Montreal are like Quebec City and Montreal, I think, are like
Gotcha.
100 miles apart
Quebec's
or something.
a province. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but they've got their own city too. They've got Quebec, and then they've got Quebecopolis, Quebec City, Ville de
Gross
Quebec
name.
or whatever.
New
And-
Quebec and
And then
Mhm,
they've got
mhm.
Montreal too, which I think is like what people actually know.
Gotcha.
Montreal.
Boo.
Oui.
Yes.
So-
Right.
Interesting.
Love
You
that.
guys have any other Canada things to bring up while we're on the topic?
I don't think so.
No, I'm looking at the podcast document, and Canada's not coming to mind
It kind
right
of
now.
crosses it off. That's not part of my world, but what is part of my world is Pal World. I don't know if you've been in your circles, but on all of my internet circles, it's all about Pal World. Have you guys heard anything about this? Can you give me a
Yeah,
description of
I
what
have.
it is?
Sure. So as far as I can tell, I've watched like one trailer on it, and a bunch of my friends have been telling me about it. It's basically Pokemon meets Breath of the Wild, sort of, but there's also machine guns.
Yeah.
And when I say it's basically like Pokemon, I mean like the actual pals that you collect look exactly like Pokemon. Exactly.
Yeah, like
It's
if you
pretty nuts.
took the generators where it's like mix two Pokemon together, that's what a Pal is
Mhm.
for the most part.
Okay. All right.
So
But that's
I
kind of all I
saw,
know about it.
yeah, I saw like a side by side of some of these pals versus like the Pokemon that they're very clearly based on.
Mhm.
But then I saw that content, and then I also saw some people discussing a certain pal who apparently is like um enters into sexual relationships with people.
Damn.
Okay.
That I did not know. I'm not really reading the PAL deck when I catch them. I'm mostly just catching
It's the
pals
big
and-
pink one.
There's a lot of pink ones. There's
Okay.
there's, there's 111 distinct, unique pals. So I
Oh,
don't know.
distinct
It's the
pals.
big-
Okay, let me go into an incognito mode real quick.
Sexy
It's the
pal.
big pink one that looks like a sex doll.
Yeah,
probably.
kind of.
I don't know if that's a thing. But...
Well, I got this. Well, basically, yeah, it's Pokemon, but it's mostly like Minecraft. Like you, like get to survive and build a base and craft stuff, but you can just use
Mhm.
the Pokemon or pals in this case as slave labor. So you just like
Oh,
you catch the
okay.
pals and you make them do tasks like this. They farm and they mine and they craft things for me, and then
yeah.
that's what it is. And some of them can have guns, and some of them are guns.
Wait, you can give guns to them?
Yeah, you can give them guns. Like some of them, like you can get this one guy.
good.
It's
That's
like a
pretty funny.
green chipmunk, and you can like craft him a gun, and then he'll sit on your shoulder and you'll shoot people. Like while you just chill on your shoulder and shoot people while you got your other one out. And
Hmm.
I got one that's a flamethrower. Like he's like the pal himself is a gun. Like I could just pick him
Oh,
up and
okay.
use him as a flamethrower. So like they really taken this Pokemon as guns and pals as guns thing real far. But it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I don't know. Off the bat, I don't know how to feel about it. Maybe I need to watch some more gameplay before I have any opinions, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, people are loving it. It's like the fastest growing game on Steam this year. So
Mhm.
well, it's not that far, but
Yeah.
it's also like what in a while also. You know, like in
Yeah.
the past
Sure.
12 months,
Yeah.
it's like 200,000 people watching it on Twitch at all times. So it's the internet's hottest thing right now. Pal World. So
Oh, sheesh.
some people
Okay.
hate it. 'Cause some people think it's like AI. They used AI to steal things, and other people think they just blatantly stole it manually. But I'm having a great time.
Sure. What's the difference? They're both, ethically ambiguous. Yeah.
So the bestiality Pokemon, just real quick, is
Pal.
called Lavander. Like I think it's a play on lavender. even though it's actually pink.
Mhm. Are you able to share your screen,
Yeah.
or is it not okay?
Let me just read you the entry from the PAL deck, which is
Okay.
their version of a Pokédex. Seeking a knight of love, it is always chasing someone around. At first, it only showed interest in other pals, but in recent years, even humans have become the target of its debauchery.
Interesting.
And
What?
people are comparing it to a famously, um, what's it called? Sort of co-opted Pokemon that
Yeah.
people also think is
That's the sexy
hot.
lizard. We
Oh.
talked about the sexy Salandit on this podcast before. Their models are. I saw like a model like side by side. They're also like pretty kind of the same proportions and everything. Like this guy
Yeah.
definitely stole some shit. But hey,
Is it just one person who made this?
who knows? But it's probably a good. This other guy, I don't know. I don't know too much about it. All I'm seeing is he's a thief guy. But
I just
enjoy it.
noticed one of those photos did say that Lavender was the 69th entry in the PAL World
It is.
Pokédex. That's kind of funny,
It's the
right?
pal. It's the pal deck.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
So please,
not the Pokédex.
the distinct
please.
pal deck. I caught a human though. I also caught a human. I caught a
Wait, what?
yeah. There's like these like bandit thugs, and like I just caught him. I was like, fuck it, let me throw one at him. Let me throw a pal spear at him, and I caught him.
Wait, a PAL sphere?
Yeah, pal spear.
So this reminds me of like, you know how in like old Nickelodeon shows they wouldn't have the Apple iPhone, they had the Pear phone.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't have Pokeballs, we have PAL spheres and the PAL deck.
That's good. That's
And we
good. I
have
like that.
our own
Pals.
unique sexy lizard Pokemon. It's not the same as the other one. Oh man.
Oh shit.
No, I haven't
Oh,
played it.
good.
I haven't played many new video games that I would like to play.
Mm.
I own the Breath of the Wild, or what's it called, Tears of the Kingdom game, but I didn't play it for very long. I would still like to play the Hogwarts game. Don't
Mhm.
actually no, I wouldn't. I haven't played it because of my beliefs.
Oh yeah, because you believe that you don't need a stronger Xbox.
So I've missed out on a lot of things. So I
Mhm.
probably won't be playing Power World anytime soon, which is also because of my beliefs.
Mhm.
But then again, I think Pokemon's kind of slacking now. Maybe it's time they add some guns to it.
Or some competition.
Yeah,
Higher frame
probably.
rate at least. I'm glad that this runs at 60 frames per second, unlike Pokemon, the last one,
Yeah.
which runs at like
I'm-
5 frames.
I will tell you a couple of games that I am either wanting to play because they're already out, or am looking forward to. And that is Gotham Knights. I really want to play Gotham Knights. It's like the Batman
Mm-hmm.
series of games, but this time it's just like all the sidekicks.
You'd be
And I also really want to play Justice League, or not Justice League. What is it? Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League.
Mhm.
I really want to play that. It looks cool. It looks
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, that's
DC doesn't make good movies, but they make pretty good games
You
sometimes.
could be DC villains with guns.
Hmm.
That's the
Yeah.
that's the selling point. Like all of them have guns. Captain Boomerang has a
Yeah.
gun. The Shark Guy has a gun. Harley Quinn, known for
Uh-huh.
having a baseball bat, has a gun.
It's like a gun, but it looks like a baseball bat. It's
No,
like one of those umbrellas.
I wish it's a gun that looks like it's a gun because it is a gun.
So wait, everybody gets a gun now. The
Yeah,
Pokemon get a gun. Harley
Deadshot
Quinn gets a
is-
gun.
Who's
Mhm.
next?
You know they're
Yeah.
making a Joker 2.
Cool. I think I saw
mo-
they announced
the
Harley
movie?
Quinn. I think for it.
It does. And do you know who plays her?
No.
Oh, is it the girl from Saturday Night Live? No, it's not. SNL
No.
lady.
Is it
I
Zoe
can't remember.
Deschanel?
Yeah, they changed the Joker to be the property brother, and Harley Quinn is Zoe Deschanel.
That's tough. That's
No,
tough, dude.
it's Lady Gaga,
Oh,
Oh, that's right. That's
and
right.
it's a musical.
Oh,
That's awesome. Let's get it. You guys see people
okay.
people on my TikTok timeline have been getting really up in arms about like this new Mean Girls musical that like came
Oh
out
yeah.
Hmm.
or something.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I was really into that shit, I'd be pissed too because the side by side comparisons they provide are pretty telling that these movie musicals are just considerably worse than the Broadway ones. But also, I mean, it's Mean Girls, bro.
Yeah.
When
Dude,
did
I
the
will
original
say
Mean Girls come out?
I can't remember. 2003. That's my
There's a
guess.
new one coming out. I think that's
2004.
Ooh, close.
20 years.
So
Okay.
this is like the 20-year anniversary. Yeah.
Well, I recently watched the original Mean Girls for the first time, and by recently I mean like maybe 5 months ago, 6 months ago. Uh, but anyways, it was pretty solid.
It's solid.
It's it's really good.
Have you seen Legally Blonde?
No, not since I was like maybe 6. It used to be
That's
one of my
also a good,
sister's favorite movies. So,
that's also a good one that I'll shout out, and also the Lizzie McGuire movie. Like
mm,
I watched it
okay,
with Jill. I don't know,
yeah.
probably like a year and a half ago or something.
Who's
It's
Jill?
my girlfriend Jill. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
it's great. Just shout out to that movie.
Yeah, interesting. I gotta check it out.
That's not Cadet Kelly. I think that's the only one I saw with Lizzie McGuire in it, or Hilary Duff.
Mm.
They're the same person to me.
No, it's not Cadet Kelly, and it's also not. I feel like she was in a bunch of those, but that's the only one I can remember.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
real quick, speaking about guns, can I do a
Yeah.
gun topic real quick?
Yeah, why not?
sure, go for it.
Pop off, King,
We're a pro gun
My girlfriend
podcast,
Jill
right?
came home the other day
with a gun.
from Five Below with a off-brand Nerf gun that she
Okay.
bought for
Yeah.
like $3, and the goal was to like shoot it across the room, not at Denny the kitty,
Mhm.
but for him to
course not.
chase the bullets and stuff. But anyway, we had so much fun with it. We got a different one from Target. So the one from
Mhm.
Five Below was like $3, and it's like a single shot little pistol thing.
Mhm.
The one from Target is like this revolver rifle
Is it the
thing.
Maverick? You get the Maverick?
It might be the Maverick. It has a cool word on it for sure. But
If it's Nerf, yeah, that's what I used to have.
yeah, it's a Nerf gun. So we have the off-brand one from Five Below, and then we have the real one that we got from Target. And did you guys have Nerf guns when you were growing up?
Did I? I had like
I
all
think
of them.
so. I think I had like one.
And so like when I was a kid, this is what me and Jill were talking about. My parents, her parents, they're always like, "Oh no, like, maybe for Christmas you could have a Nerf gun." Whatever.
Uh-huh.
How much do you think a Nerf gun costs?
$25.
Yeah, that sounds $20-$30. I'm looking at one right now, and it's like 19, I think.
The
Oh.
Nerf gun that we got was like $8 or something.
What, dude?
That's crazy.
I gotta have a strong, stern talking to with my parents. See what's going on, why they couldn't afford to buy me a Nerf gun.
It's probably because
It's
you would
probably just
lose all the
'cause-
little styrofoam
Yeah.
bullets all over the place.
Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't want to be the ones to pick up all the bullets.
Yo, these are cheap
for
as
sure.
hell. You can get the Fortnite Heavy SR Blaster Nerf gun crossover for only $25.
Okay, that's insane. I
Yeah.
remember the one Nerf gun that I did have as a kid. I would just like lay on the ground in front of our big living room TV, which was one of the like big ones that was like a foot or it was like 3 feet thick, one of those old TVs. I would just lay in front of it on the ground and shoot my Nerf gun bullets at the TV because they had the little suction cup thing on them. And I would just cover the TV in the suction cup bullets.
So the one we actually got, I'm looking at now, it's the
it
Nerf Elite
strong arm?
2.0 Commander RD6 blaster, which costs $9.
Blaster, I hardly know her.
Oh, yeah.
You could spend $500 apparently on this Nerf Titan CS50, which has a 50. It's got like a drum that you can load up with 50 Nerf darts, and it's got like a motorized spinning of the drum.
I had a belt fed one that was similar lines where like it would automatically shoot, but it was like fed with you had to load every bullet into the thing. So it's like I'm not doing this. I'm not loading darts into the belt just so I could shoot them out. I'd rather
Yeah.
cock
Yeah.
that shit back and pop them with my Maverick, or like the little the ones that are just like one
Dang,
shots,
dude.
but like you pull the thing back, shoot really far. Like they shoot like surprisingly far for how compact they are.
Yeah.
I was always
Interesting.
surprised.
Dude, they've
You
got
know what
some
we need
cool
to do?
tech going
It's
here.
Nerf or nothing, bro.
That's right.
We need to all go out and find like a pretty solid Nerf gun, and then take a trip to Las Vegas. And then every time you get shot by a Nerf gun, you have to buy everyone else a drink. You have to buy the
I-
person that shot you a drink
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
don't
shoot
think you
people
should
in
walk around
Vegas,
Las
yeah.
Vegas with a Nerf.
with a Nerf gun. Okay, sure.
I don't know. I feel like there's just a heavy police presence and stuff there. A lot of security people.
Yeah, and a lot of people carrying around green and orange MK-47s or whatever.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at this Fortnite Blue Shock Blaster, which it has a banana clip. Like it looks exactly like an AK-47, except it's blue.
It's
Yeah.
very tactical.
Yeah, okay, maybe not. Maybe not.
Can any
Damn.
of you guys tell me what Nerf stands for?
We did this before. We had a segment where we did
Mhm.
acronyms.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Can you remember them? Can you remember it? I'll give.
No.
If you can't do Nerf, I'll let you slide with if you can say if you know what laser means.
So the F, I think people think it stands for foam, or maybe it does stand for foam.
The F does stand
Oh,
for foam.
yeah, it does stand for foam. Yeah.
Naturally extruded.
No idea.
Go
No
on,
clue.
go on. Come on. Non-expanding recreational foam.
Okay.
It's never-
Recreational.
or
Okay.
nothing, you know.
Or nothing. I don't know how much more you have to talk about Nerf guns here. I know I'm the
Yeah.
one who brought up the topic, but they've got
Mhm.
crazy collabs too. Nerf.
Yeah,
They've
they
got
hella
Black
Sure, I
Panther,
hella Fortnite stuff.
Fortnite. They've got
Mhm.
Star Wars: The Mandalorian. They have one that looks like his gun.
Oh, it looks like
Okay. That's cool.
it's got
That's
you
really
got
cool.
Din Djarin's gun. Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty sweet.
because it's got that curvy stock on it.
I want
They
Nerf
got
football
Fortnite.
that looks like Grogu's little pod thing.
It's like a grenade, a Nerf grenade.
Oh,
And they've got
man.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. Those are just the ones I've seen.
That's
They've
pretty
got
sweet.
Halo.
Oh, let's go.
Okay.
They have guns.
Sure.
Check out new season of Halo on Paramount, I think, or on something. Saw an ad for that.
That's
the
a
other
TV
day.
show?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, everything that's a property that is now a TV show.
They
Sure.
love, they love making money, selling out to Nerf. Things of this nature.
Yeah.
Nerf
But hey,
sellouts.
but before we went on our Nerf journey here, I did have a little segue lined up into a new segment that I think I'm workshopping currently that has to do with movies. And we were talking about movies, and I was gonna say, hey, speaking of movies, I have a segment that deals with movies that's half baked.
Nice.
But then we went off on our Nerf gun tangent. So
Well,
now,
you know what has guns in it? Movies.
so now we're moving to my new half baked segment. I think, guys, I'm excited to pitch this segment to you guys. I think it has big potential, for like recurringness and for entertainment. Right?
Replay value.
Yeah. So, the other day, I have a friend in town from college, and we were chilling at my place, and they noticed that I had a VCR player and a bunch of VHS tapes, and they're like, "Why don't we just like plug in that VCR player and a bunch of VHS tape?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, but first, I'm gonna take an edible." And so I took an edible, and then we watched The Mummy on VHS.
Yeah, the best way.
And that was a great experience. That's the first time I had ever seen The Mummy. And so my thought process for this was that it would be really cool to have some sort of VHS tape review segment where I take an edible and watch a VHS tape and then review the movie and like take notes during the movie and read them to you guys. And maybe some fun entertainment would come out of it.
So
Unfortunately, I didn't write everything down for The Mummy, but it was my first time watching it. It was cool.
all right, before we
it.
get too far into the Mummy, so is VHS tapes like records? Is there any like benefit to them, or is it just that they're old?
No, it's just that I stole my parents' VCR player a couple years ago. And so now I've been like collecting VHS tapes for no reason and not even really watching them.
You're
But
just
I have
buying dead medium.
like 15 or 16 of them. Do what?
You're just buying a dead
Yeah.
medium of media. Awesome.
Yeah, because it's like $1. It's
Yeah.
cheap. So
You know, I think if I had to guess, like a vinyl, I guess is supposed to have superior sound quality, but there's no. Like I think that a VHS can only be worse, but these movies were meant to look that way, or they weren't
Yeah.
meant to look like that way, but that's how they looked forever. So
and
why should
the
we
thing
watch The
about
Mummy in 4K? It
Yeah.
wasn't meant
Yeah,
to be.
right.
Why would we watch it in
the-
a better quality? Why would we do that?
the thing about this segment would be that your time frame for these movies has stopped, right? These are all going to be movies that were made like pre 2006 or something,
Hmm.
Okay.
you know, which is pretty interesting.
I wonder what the last VHS was ever
Yeah,
printed.
I don't know.
Star Wars
But anyways,
3.
here it is. The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. All right. That's it.
I've never
I
seen
have
the
it.
Mummy. I've been on the ride though.
It's so good. It's so good. The Mummy, it's a freaking classic monster movie. All right. It's incredible. The CGI is pretty decent. Surprisingly enough, when I was watching this, I kept thinking, like, dude, Brendan Fraser is amazing. He's so good in this movie, and it kept like occurring to me that at that time frame, he was supposed to be like the next Tom Cruise, right? He was supposed to be like the next Brad Pitt guy.
Now Tom Cruise is doing the Mummy instead.
Yeah, I know, it's so sad, but it was pretty wild his career, you know, with the whole like getting blacklisted and everything, and then coming back in like artsy film situation. But anyways, yeah, he's super good in this movie. Another thing that kind of kept going through my head was like I thought it was hilarious that this movie, you know, takes place in Egypt, and there's a lot of Egyptian people around, and they're all like normal looking people, and there are a few British people in the movie, and they're all kind of normal looking people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the two Americans that are in the movie are absolute fucking studs.
Okay.
All right.
They're just gorgeous, and everyone else is just normal looking.
And so I think that's hilarious that everyone looks normal, and then the two Americans are like absolute freaking studs. And there's like a goofy, like smart British guy who says something, and then always the American guy has like a snarky comment to kind of show that, you know, Americans are cooler than British people. But then at the same time, the like damsel in distress character in this movie, she's British. And so I kept thinking about how like that's interesting, a little bit of social commentary on like American men are like the coolest and strongest, but British women pretty smart.
I mean, American men are the coolest and strongest. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, it's pretty
Yeah,
easy commentary when it's the truth.
So
yeah, you're right.
I've never seen the movie, but just real
Uh-huh.
quick, this
Yeah.
like it's basically like Indiana Jones.
Kind of, yeah. Basically, like the movie starts off like a long time ago. There's this dude who, I guess, like tried to kill an Egyptian princess. I can't remember exactly. This was a few days ago when I watched the movie. But because of that, they like mummified him alive and put like a big curse on him and everything.
It's not gonna make a good mummy if I know how mummying works. Like, you can't really embalm someone if they're alive.
No, how
Well, they just like wrapped him up in toilet paper and then like fed him to a bunch of giant beetles inside of sarcophagus, right? But they also put a curse on him, and because of that curse, whenever he's found, like if you read a certain book, and if he's able to get to these certain vases that I can only assume contain his organs and shit, I don't know exactly what's in them, but if he gets all of his pieces back, he can reanimate and spread new plagues based on the plagues in the Bible around the whole world.
Why do
right?
why do you make that? You know, if this guy like tried to kill someone, why do you
don't
make
know.
him a
I don't know.
WMD? Why do you just like spend all this time and make him really dangerous if you didn't
Why
like
don't you
this guy
put
in
the
first
jars
place?
really far away?
Why don't you
too?
fucking break him?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But anyways, all of the shit that happens that needs to happen for him to come back and be reanimated and stuff happens somehow. And then it's just like
Dang it.
it's just a battle to beat the mummy in this situation. It's so good. It's like I said, it's an instant classic monster movie. Um it was crazy to me cuz like I guess this movie is old enough to kind of precede this idea that horror movies need to be like jump scare movies,
24
right?
years old.
Yeah, so it was good. It wasn't jump scary, but it was like still kind of terrifying because you knew the weight of the situation. Um, and all the acting was amazing. When people screamed, this was something I remember talking about. When people screamed in the movie, it didn't sound like a scream of like, "Oh, this is scary," and like I've seen something like this before. It wasn't like a familiar scary scream. It was like, holy shit, this mummy, this dead thing is coming back to life and it's blowing my mind right now kind of scream, which was pretty dope. It was cool. So, um, I figured with this segment, maybe I could give it a rating out of 5. And so for the mummy, I give it a 4 5-pointed leaf out of 5. I give it 4 stars out of 5.
What about out of 10?
Oh, 5-pointed leaf. I get it. Yeah. That's good.
Out of 10, 8.5.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Did you rewind it?
Yes, I did.
Does your
I
VHS
actually have a rewinder.
does it look like a race car?
No, I mean it looks like, well, a little bit. Now that you mention it, kind of. So, but anyways, yeah, I figured that could be a good segment. You know, every so often I take an edible and watch a VHS tape and take notes down and stuff. So
But you didn't do notes this time, so that's for next time. You're gonna take notes.
no,
take notes
because
next
I
time.
thought of this idea like halfway through the Mummy. I was like, this would be sick. It's too late to take notes though. So
Yeah, halfway through, no notes. Too late.
no notes. Yeah, for sure.
Did you know that the Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser is apparently in the same Mummy franchise as the movie The Mummy starring Boris Karloff from 1932?
Oh damn! Shout out Boris
No,
Karloff.
holy
Shout out
shit.
the Zombie Zoo.
That's probably like what created the Halloween costume The Mummy, this movie from 1932.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild. That's
Oh.
crazy. Oh, something else that I wanted to mention about the VHS tape, and maybe I'll mention this on future ones as well, are the ads. Are the ads at the beginning.
Ooh,
I totally
that's good.
forgot about that.
So it tells you a little bit. It tells you a little bit about the actual, tape itself and maybe when it was made. And I think this VHS tape was probably made not when the movie first came out, but at some other point because the first advertisement on the VHS tape was for the DVD version of The Mummy.
Hmm.
So they were just advertising how it has like a bunch of different features and stuff and like behind the scenes and all that. So they were advertising getting The Mummy on DVD on The Mummy on VHS, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then the other big ad that I remember was like a DVD compilation of all of the old original like monster horror movies. So like Dracula, Frankenstein, The Creature from the Black Lagoon,
The original
the
Mummy.
Wolfman, the Invisible Man. I didn't see the original Mummy, but maybe it was in there and I missed it. So That was pretty cool. Those are the two ads that I remember.
Did you get a
from the movie.
THX ad? I remember getting all those, and those shits were fire.
I don't think so.
That's
I
just
don't
where they
think I
make the
did.
loud noise, right?
Yeah, it's like pans up, like, yeah, whatever that shit is. It's real.
Mhm.
It was.
Yeah.
It's hype if you know what I mean. That
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do know what you mean, but I don't remember seeing that in my copy.
Damn. Tough.
But
Trash.
yeah.
copy.
Anyways, also another thing about this movie, it's rated PG-13, but the lead actress, I swear, like the two main women in this movie were both constantly wearing very sheer clothing. It was jarring.
You saw a lot of
It was
Rachel
jarring.
Wise. Is what you're
All
saying?
right.
A lot of Rachel Wise and Patricia Velasquez.
Yeah. So whoever plays like the Egyptian princess in the beginning,
Angsu Namun. Angsu Namun.
I guess,
That's
and then the
Patricia
British
Velasquez.
student.
That's
They're just
Rachel
both wearing
Wise.
like really sheer clothing, and it's kind of like, why? You know what I'm saying?
Because it's the
Yeah.
90s, man.
Because it's
It's the
1999
90s.
or
Women
whatever.
aren't people yet. Come on.
Also, another thing maybe to point out on these tapes is that there's always a little warning. You can't see it here. There's always a little warning on here from the FBI.
Yeah, don't pirate
there.
that shit.
Also,
Yeah,
real
it's pretty
quick,
crazy.
you know, the last time I handled a VHS was probably, you know, at least 15 years ago, probably 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I thought they were so big, but you just held up a VHS. It is not that big. Wow.
It's
That's
like
just crazy. I was just so much smaller last time
I
I
was,
saw
real, I was
VHS.
real small the last time I used the VHS tape. That's crazy.
Dude, I used to think they were like the size of a laptop, you know?
I thought they were like a book,
That's
at least
so
a book
funny.
size, you know? That's
Yeah,
not, that's
that's
way too
crazy.
big. That's too big. That's
I held up my laptop case. But yeah, I thought they
No,
were a
I'm
lot
just-
bigger.
I'm just 7'6". What are you talking about?
We're an above average height podcast.
Yeah.
But
No short
it's
kings
not
allowed.
like you holding a VHS is like you holding a matchbook, you know.
Yeah,
It's
right. You know, it's fun fact. I don't know if we've ever even really talked about this on the podcast, but Ryan being 5'11" is the reason he left the podcast.
yeah.
It's like you got to be 6 foot and up to be in the podcast.
He
sorry.
couldn't. He couldn't take it. He couldn't take the
You,
heat.
you must be this tall to record the podcast.
It's good. We were just talking to each other. It was all
shit.
going over his head, you know. Literally.
Nah.
You got tired of us talking down to him.
This is what he gets
Oh,
on his
man.
birthday. Hopefully he listens.
Right,
to
we
this.
love you. We miss you. Come back to us.
At least for a guest spot.
Wait,
Yeah,
do you have component cables on your TV? Like that's kind of what I was wondering. Like,
Oh, good question.
cause like
No. So when I moved out
you
here,
got an adapter, you got HDMI to
yeah.
to component cable adapter. Ugh,
HDMI
I bought an
adapter.
adapter.
I
I bought
hardly
an
know her.
adapter.
hardly HDMI nowhere.
I bought an adapter for my GameCube actually. So,
Oh, okay.
but
Go listen to
apparently
former
it takes yeah,
episodes.
whatever episode that was. But apparently it takes a lot of power for this adapter to adapt AV cables to HDMI. So like it has where the AV cables go in, it has where the HDMI comes out, and it also has like a USB to power it,
Wow.
which is super interesting. Yeah. So
Yeah, VHS chips are just so cheap.
I bought that for my GameCube, dude.
Yeah, he already had it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Sunk cost. All right.
Yeah, exactly. What other
Oh, man.
medium should we bring back? Speaking of the mummy, like hieroglyphics, stone tablets.
Yes.
Papyrus. Get some papyrus back.
Yeah, I was gonna say those like big drums that have like pegs on them that you put into like a music box and you rotate it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. You ever seen
You
like,
know
a
what that
music
is?
box? Yeah, music box like it's got like times or whatever, and then it just like goes over this like a spindle, and it plays the music on it. Like you also can do it for like a piano. I think some like the auto playing pianos. Have
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty fire. I think we need to bring back birds sending mail.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's a good
Alright.
one.
Again. Or maybe
Yeah.
other animals. I mean, it doesn't have to be exclusively avian, but I'm thinking birds. I think that'd probably be
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
since they're not
You're
regular.
you've just been playing Power World too much. You want
Yes.
animals to do all your bidding.
He wants slave
I've
animals.
been hanging out too much at the Chicago rat hole.
What is
What?
that?
Oh, really?
I don't know what that is.
So there's like a rat hole in Chicago, in Chicago, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's just a hole that looks like a
You
rat.
mean the whole city?
Ooh.
I got
Man.
him.
Yeah, it's just like making some local news because of a tweet. Basically, there's a hole in the shape of a rat in Chicago. The Chicago rat hole is a hole shaped like a rat in the sidewalk of West Roscoe Street in the Roscoe Village neighborhood of Chicago.
Oh, it's got a Wikipedia page, the Chicago Rat Hole.
Yep, that's what I just read from. You can get a
That's
little
funny.
location right on it.
Wow.
It's
Is it from a rat? Does it say?
I mean, there's debate over the origin of the hole.
Oh no, it is an apparent example of accidental life casting. So I think there was a poor little rat stuck in there.
Oh, that's sad. Oh,
I'm sure he wasn't there very long. I'm sure somebody was like, dude,
save the rat.
yeah, get him out or something. But you know, sometimes you're like walking down the street or whatever, and you can see this is like on my driveway. There's some like little cat paws and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like I think it happens all the time that you
For
know
sure.
animals don't understand wet concrete, and this guy.
Slip and fall into the wet concrete below. You know, it's a great tune that knows no sound. Shout out to that rat. He ain't around.
Shortly after the restoration of this, so they filled in the hole. People dug out the filled in hole.
Yep.
2024, just a couple days ago. Shortly after it was restored, an engagement happened there, and a gay marriage happened at the rat
Oh,
hole.
nice.
So people love the rat hole.
Yeah, people on the Chicago Reddit are like, "Hey, stop coming to the fucking rat hole." Sincerely, people that live by the rat hole.
Those that couple is gonna tell their kids one day we found love at the rat hole.
Mm.
How nice.
That is nice.
Speaking
Oh,
of
wow.
gay marriage or just marriage in general, shout out to Noah and his wife who got married. Noah Butler, shout out. Who got ungay married, like normal married.
Speaking of the second gayest thing you can do, shout out to them getting married.
But not at the rat hole. So
Yeah. The see also on the Wikipedia page for Chicago Rat Hole is pretty good. See also Our Lady of the Underpass, which is a salt stain under Chicago's Kennedy Expressway. Pinto Bean, who's a squirrel, Pizza Rat, and Pothole.
Of course.
So you go check those things
Nice.
out. And the last VHS to ever be created was for a movie called A History of Violence, which was released in 2006. It's directed by David Cronenberg, and it starred Viggo
Oh.
Mortensen, also known as Aragorn, the King of Gondor.
Interesting. That's wild. Okay.
you know he's supposed to be like 100 or something. Like Aragorn's like real old.
Yeah, I think Aragorn's 87.
Like he looks
During-
He looks pretty good for 87.
Yeah, but there's some
Yeah, Middle Earth.
Magic.
Middle Earth time is weird,
yeah.
right?
I mean, Bilbo's in the beginning of Lord of the Rings. He's turning 11T 12 or whatever, like 111 or something. 11D1, I think that's what they call it.
I was playing Baldur's Gate a couple weeks ago, and they have, instead of what are the half? They're not called halflings. What are the halflings are what they call them in Baldur's Gate? What are the
Hobbit.
Yeah, I hate them.
Mhm,
I think I've come to realize that I did not like all of them. They walk too
So-
funny. They're too lackadaisical.
You're saying if you lived in Lord of the Rings times, you would be
Prejudiced
racist
against
to hell.
prejudice against hoppers. Yeah, probably.
Why are your feet so hairy, dude? What's going on?
You lazy ass, get fucking going. How many lunches?
Why are
do
you
to
guys
eat?
so pleasant and eating so much food?
Yeah, what the fuck, get going, you motherfucker. What are you waddling there for? Get your ass
Why
back
do
to
you-
work.
Why do you live in such a weird house with a circle door?
That's
Oh
funny.
man.
What? Okay, so what race are you going to be in
Well,
Middle Earth? Is the real question.
One of the good ones. Hopefully, I mean, elf is probably the one you want, right? And then that's like the best
Yeah.
one. That's
Hmm.
if I had a,
Or
if I
like,
could pick, I want elf.
Well,
aren't the wizards? Aren't the wizards like their own species?
yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to this. So I think that
Mhm.
and I don't know all of it. You have to read. Like I've read all of the Lord of the Rings books and watched all the movies,
Mhm.
but they're like books that Tolkien never finished. I think that you have to also read if you want to understand all of the lore.
So you're
But
knee deep
yeah,
in the
like
Silmarillion.
Gandalf is not just a human person. He's also like he's like a demigod or whatever.
Well, that's
He's
if I
like
can.
he's
Then I
like the
want to be a
guy that fell
demigod.
out of the sky in Rings of Power.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is either.
I don't know if that's actually him. I watched that show and I don't really remember it. But
Oh, that was the
I'm pretty
Amazon
sure the
Lord of
guy
the
that
Rings.
fell out of the sky in Rings of Power is for sure a wizard.
okay. It's probably him. He's the most famous one. But
I don't know.
What was
Um,
Sauron? What was he? Because he was pretty OP.
he's also like he's like the same level as Gandalf, I think,
Well,
in
okay,
terms of
my
species.
first choice Gandalf Sauron race, and if I don't have that, then elf, then half elf, then human, and then I'd rather die.
What about orc?
Then
Is
dwarf?
orc up there?
Dude,
Dwarf. That's
Goblin?
good too.
Dude,
Could be a
I
goblin.
think I'd rather be an orc than than a dwarf.
What about an
You don't
int?
want to.
Oh, I'd be an ant
Oh
over
hell yeah!
ants
Hell
for the elf, half
But
elf,
Reed,
ant human.
Reed, you don't want to be goblin?
Nah, fuck goblins.
Goblin what?
Goblin D's nuts, dude. Thanks, Seth. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Bye.
it. But if you guys want to be gobbling up our content, all right. If you want to be gobbling up our content, you can find us everywhere at FKA the Pod. That's at Gmail. You can email us at fkathepod@gmail.com. We have an Instagram. We have an X. We have a TikTok. And we have a
Threads.
YouTube channel. So go over there and subscribe and watch our videos. That would be cool. That would
Yeah.
be pretty sweet.
Fill your rat hole with our content.